praise and honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, it's a quick edition of story time, right? As you can see, the book I have here by Friar Diego de Landa. It's called Yucatan, Before and After the Conquest. All right, so it was translated with notes by William Gates. Very interesting book. Goes into the Yucatan natives. The Yucatan is in Mexico. All right, it's in southeast Mexico. All right, so I want to go inside the book and see what it says here on page 8. All right, I got it highlighted for you. So let's read this. It says, some old men of Yucatan say that they have heard from their ancestors that this country was peopled by a certain race who came from the east. All right, came from the east, who God delivered by opening for them 12 roads through the sea. That sounds pretty familiar. Sound pretty familiar. It says, if this is true, all the inhabitants of the Indies must be of Jewish descent. It says, because the Straits of Magellan having been passed, they must have spread over more than 2,000 languages of territory now governed by Spain. All right. So the Yucatan, like I said, provinces of Yucatan is in Mexico. So that's talking about the Mexicans, the who we call the Issacharites. All right. Where they getting this information from though? Why would the old men of Yucatan, why would their ancestors say that they came from the east? Well, let's roll on over here to the Bible. Let's go to Second Esdras, chapter 13. Shalom, King. Shalom to the elder in the chat. Second Esdras, chapter 13. And we're gonna go over here to verse 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathens and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Where never mankind dwelt. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. That sound like what he said over here when it said God delivered by opening for them 12 roads through the sea. Sound like the same thing. Hmm. Let's go back to the Bible. It says, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the floods till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsarid, which is identified as the Americas today. All right, so it's in these books, y'all. It is in these books, right? Says here, the Classic Codex of 1552. So this is an old book. Trying to find out when it was published. Let me see if I can figure out when it was published. Uh, can't see. It says July 15, 62. All right. So this is some old information. Old information. This 1500s, that's when they wasn't letting niggas read. You know that, right? They wasn't letting us read books. So they was putting all kind of stuff in books that they never thought that we would probably read. Right. But there you have it. You can get this book. I think I got this from Amazon. All right. It says Friar Diego de Landa, Yucatan, before and after the conquest. All right. So you can probably pick this book up at your leisure. With that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh.